and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Welcome to Nosebleed Radio, presented by Paisan's Pizzeria in Omaha. Here's your host, Tucker Franklin.
What's up? Episode number 28 of Nosebleed Radio, coming to you on a Tuesday, our first Tuesday edition of Nosebleed Radio. I'm here with the boys, KB, Kieran, Brennan.
How's it going?
Toby Todd.
What's up?
And Shane Miller.
Hey, how's it going, Roll Hawks?
Go ahead and get this episode started with our favorite number 28s. KB, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll go first. My favorite 28, what comes from a franchise that has recently broken my heart. He was part of the greatest show on turf, and now the Rams have moved to the evil empire, which is California. And that's Marshall Faulk. Really good running back. Exciting to watch. And I wish the Rams hadn't broken my heart so bad.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He was pretty not bad.
All right. I've got two number 28s, also running backs. I think we all went running backs. We did. Mm-hmm. I've got Curtis Martin. He was a running back for the Patriots and the Jets during the same time as Marshall Faulk. He was a stud, and he left the Patriots right before they started winning all the Super Bowls. So pretty bad timing for Curtis Martin. Yeah, but great. He's top 10 all-time in rushing yards, which is number 4 all-time in rushing yards. So pretty effective back. And then I'm going to go current running back Melvin Gordon for the Los Angeles Chargers, the other team in the evil empire of which Kieran just spoke. And he's pretty good, and he's got good hair.
Was Melvin Gordon the one whose mom said that she wouldn't buy his jersey until he scored a touchdown?
Yes, he didn't score a single touchdown his rookie season.
Yeah.
And he's been pretty good ever since.
Yeah, he's been pretty all right. 28's a really good running back number. I think that's why there's a lot of good running backs number 28. I went another recent one, Adrian Peterson, but not his current team when he was with the Vikings. He was really good. A little problematic with the whole switch ordeal, but he was still a solid running back. I got his stats up here. One second, let me pull him up. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro. He won the MVP in 2012, the Offensive Player of the Year in 2012 also. Apparently a pretty good year in 2012. Over 12,000 rushing yards, averaged 4.8 yards per carry, 100 rushing touchdowns. So, pretty good.
I believe he wears 26 now.
He does wear 26 now. That's why I said Vikings.
Yeah. What did he wear 28 with the Saints too when he played with the Saints for a little bit?
Yeah.
I think this is the first time he hasn't worn 28. Because I'm pretty sure when he played with the Cardinals, he wore 28 too.
What about Oklahoma?
Oh, I don't know about Oklahoma.
I think he was 28 in Oklahoma.
I'll talk about my number 28 here. Warrick Dunn, 3-time Pro Bowler, NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year in 1997, Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year in 2004. He's in the Atlanta Falcons Ring of Honor. Was a national champion in 1993 with Florida State, second-team All-American in 96, 3-team first-team All-SEC from 94 to 96. So a guy who was pretty solid.
Yeah, all good picks all around. Good job, guys.
Good running backs.
Yay,
a lot of good running backs. Move on to our first topic of discussion here. A big story that happened over the weekend was this Serena Williams little debacle here. She got into a little verbal scat with the official, and it probably costed her because I don't think the match was totally out of hand by the time she got into it. And I think that her getting she got caught for cheating, technically. Like her coach was coaching her during the match, which is not okay. And she was assessed a penalty, or the other person was, I don't know how tennis works, so they're assessed another point. Or she forfeited a match or something in the game.
Something weird like that. Deuce.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I think we got it, though.
Yeah, we're on the right track.
Yes. But Serena ended up losing the U.S. Open, which is basically like on her home turf.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
We
talked about this a lot. Serena tried to pull the whole sexism card, like if this would have happened to a man, nothing would have happened, which is, I think, a little ridiculous. We talked about, I do feel like she's had issues with sexism and racism in the past, so I get that she's sensitive to it, but this in no way was because of sexism.
I think it was more of the way that she was talking to the line judge, which, I mean, she didn't say anything that she shouldn't have been penalized for, but like there have been people that have said much worse things, and it's just kind of one of those things that like
The thing I
your
think that
crime is
really
worse than
hurt her
theirs.
was when she said, "You're a thief. You need to apologize to me." Because I think as soon as you attack a referee or line judge or whatever's character in any sport, they're going to penalize you. If you're in baseball, you get ejected for saying that. As soon as you say "you" at the ref, you get ejected. You're at the ump.
What I found interesting about this is I'd brought this up with you. There's like the New York Post had an article saying that like she was throwing a tantrum, and then the other day Aaron Boone kind of threw a fit and he was yelling at an umpire, showing him where the catcher caught the ball and everything, and they just said he was arguing a strike. So the verbiage when it comes to men and women, like subconsciously, I think is different.
Yeah, people were saying don't call it a meltdown because you wouldn't say meltdown for a guy,
Right.
which I thought was interesting. It's weird how like those little bits of sexism come up in like kind of everyday life.
And the U.S. Open has had an instance even earlier this tournament where the tennis player had her shirt on backwards and she went to change it, and it involved people seeing her bra, and people kind of flipped out over that, where she was just turning her shirt around.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like
Tennis is a weird sport.
Kind of like it
like a
was
step behind.
it was unladylike or something like that.
It's kind of like golf, where like the etiquette rules, I think, kind of get in the way of its own self.
Well, it's interesting because like we see a lot of tennis players kind of have outbursts, stuff like that, and I think Serena, she's had instances with judges before, but they haven't cost her like sets and points, which I think is what she was really upset about afterwards. What I found really interesting was how after the match ended, she got to go back and do the presser and all that. She said she was defending women's rights.
Yeah.
In her argumentation with the judge, which I believe is probably not the foremost thing on your mind.
No.
During a championship match at the highest level of your sport. So I think it genuinely was her being disgruntled about how bad Osaka beat her in that first set.
I think she saw an opportunity to say, "Oh, I was trying to do something bigger than tennis," which I think is bullshit. I think she's just trying to gain the public opinion here and give an explanation for why she freaked out at the line judge.
Right.
Which I think is dumb.
I agree with that. And I think that the talk really hurts Osaka more than it'll hurt Serena and her reputation. Because she'll still be the greatest women's tennis player of all time after this, whether or not people like what she did or any of that. But Osaka is a 20-year-old who won a tournament and was booed.
Yeah. No, I brought this up a lot when they were talking about this. Osaka said her biggest dream, like as growing up as a tennis player, was to play Serena Williams in a championship like this, and she got to live out her dream and didn't get to enjoy it because she was being booed, and no one is talking about Osaka now. Everything is about Serena Williams. What we're doing right now is talking about Serena Williams.
It's a shame that she had to apologize for winning a championship.
You should never have to apologize for winning. That was ridiculous.
It was so sad to watch. I don't know if you guys watched the trophy ceremony, but the poor girl, and she's our age. She's 20 years old,
which is ridiculous.
Had to pull the visor down over her eyes so she wasn't just sobbing on national television. It was just so heartbreaking to watch, and like
that should be the happiest moment of her life.
Yeah,
it got ruined because Serena Williams freaked out at the line judge.
Like all you could hear was the boos ringing down from the New York City faithful.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And the only time that they cheered was not when the trophy was presented, but when Serena Williams took the mic and for the first time that entire day decided to do something classy, telling them that Osaka won the match and they should celebrate her, was the only time they cheered during that presentation. So, I don't know. It was kind of a...
It was a weird event all around.
Very eventful.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something you'd see like in any other sport.
Maybe golf.
I feel like golfers have...
I don't know who they'd argue with, but maybe golf.
I think, like, especially, there's more confrontation in tennis when it comes to the officials than in any other sport, I think.
I was watching the tennis match one time, and there's more confrontation with the officials and the other players because, like, they switch sides like every time,
Mhm.
every other match. So but their benches remain on the same side. So every other match, you have to to get to your stuff, you have to pass by both the
Oh, that's
judge
weird.
and the other player. So it's like if you're having a piss poor match and are in a bad mood, there's probably a
lot
lot
of
of fights.
opportunity for
Yeah.
fights. Yeah.
A lot of opportunity for fights. And I don't know about in golf. I mean, there are tirades and stuff like that, but the biggest one recently has been the announcer saying that Phil Mickelson ruined golf.
That was ridiculous.
With golf, it's more against you against the course instead of you against somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't think that anything really comes close to that. Any other sport comes to you and something.
Maybe
you
you
and,
could make an argument for
course.
wrestling, Olympic wrestling.
But that's still you against somebody else.
Yeah.
That's not you against the course.
I think anytime you have a...
No, I know. I meant wrestling and tennis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I got you now.
Oh, yeah. I think golfers have a lot more respect for the other competitors from any other sport that I've seen.
They all
really.
have a frat house together.
Yeah, I mean because we've seen guys argue. Nick Kyrgios, who is going to be the example I used when I said that these tennis players show really bad etiquette on the court, get mad at officials, quit events early because things aren't going their way. There's an instance actually where he talks about his opponent's girlfriend cheating on him, saying, "Yeah, I think the verbiage used was, 'Hey mate, I'm sorry to tell you your girlfriend fucked,'" and then he said another tennis player's name.
Oh my
and he
god!
was I'm sorry about that, mate.
It's
and they continued, and then they just continued playing. But there's definitely a lot more confrontation in tennis than it lets on.
You'd think a lot of those balls after that were just aimed at that dude's head.
He probably quit early. He probably said that because he was losing, and he probably quit early because that's the kind of guy Kyrgios is. But
is that enough talking tennis?
Yeah, I'm done with tennis. That was talking tennis for the year.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about all the
R.I.P. tennis.
Yep. We'll start with college football. An eventful college football week, really, on Saturday.
Yeah, a lot went down.
A lot of what?
So a lot went down.
A lot went down.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what you said, to be honest with you. We'll start with the first thing we have on our list here. Colorado spoils Scott Frost's return. As the resident Nebraska fan here, Shane, why don't you just talk about that game? You want to just go vent to us?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not super upset about this game. This was our first game of the season. The first one got rained out, and usually your first game, a lot of mistakes are made. And it was really evident in this game that this was definitely our first game with a really young team because a lot of mistakes were made. Mistakes that you see with a lot of young teams. We had some key turnovers that Colorado capitalized into touchdowns. Our first two possessions, we turned the ball over, and then they scored on both those fumbles. We had some missed throws. Adrian Martinez looked really good. He looked really athletic. I think he has a lot of potential, but he still has some catching up to do as far as the speed of the game and stuff. I think it might have been either Toby or Tucker. One of you guys mentioned that he was at least getting the ball out fast, which you don't see a lot for young quarterbacks, so that's something interesting to look for with him. But he can definitely run. He showcased that a little bit, showcased his athleticism. So I'm excited to see what he does in the future. He's on day-to-day now, which is good. So some people were speculating he could be out 4 to 6 weeks. He could potentially play this Saturday against Troy. So I don't know. If, in my opinion, I say we keep him out, but that's just against Troy. If we're really losing, maybe bring him in. But I am not as upset with this win or with this loss as I would have been had this been a team that's been together for 2 or 3 years. Scott Frost's 3rd or 4th year here or something like that, because it was just a sloppy game. We'll get better. We'll improve. Something for us to watch on film. I think I speak for rational Nebraska fans when I say that. There's a lot of irrational Nebraska fans that are super pissed, and yeah, so we'll see.
A lot of those super irrational Nebraska fans that you mentioned just expected Nebraska to become a 10-win team.
There's a lot of people that expected us to go out and just 50-piece Colorado and move on to the next one.
Yeah, but your defense is literally the exact same as it was.
Yeah,
with
the
Mike
defense
Riley,
is not very
so
good. We had a lot of weaknesses exposed in this game, which is good. It looks for areas to improve.
I think there was a lot to like about the way Nebraska played.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that Colorado, coming into that game, probably wasn't given the credit that they deserved.
I agree with that too. Their offense was really good.
Yeah.
That receiver was a stud.
I
can't
think,
pronounce
yeah,
his name.
Chenault is
Yeah.
the real deal.
He's way good.
Montez, aside from the sacks he took late in the first half, played a really good game.
Also, another impressive thing about him, he used to eat 5 pizzas a day,
Yep, 5 frozen pizzas a day.
which is insane.
yeah.
Sabermetric of the week.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think you could take a lot of positives away from
Yeah, I
that
think
game
so
if you're a
too.
Nebraska fan. And I am really looking forward to playing them this year.
Yep.
So I did notice that we didn't have one game on this list of Mizzou beating Wyoming, and we keep forgetting to mention that Drew Lock is, if not the best quarterback in the nation, the second best quarterback in the nation. Because Drew Lock is the real deal. He's not getting enough credit that he deserves.
What were his stats from this week? Do you know?
Yeah, let me pull them up real quick.
I
Maybe you can talk.
Did you
about
guys watch the
Drew
game?
Lock.
I didn't see much of that game.
I watched the game.
How did they look?
The offense started slow in the first quarter, but then after that, it wasn't close.
Also, shout out to the Mizzou defense, which has been a little maligned through the years, but they played really well against Wyoming. I don't think they allowed a point until middle to late third quarter. So,
Who's Mizzou's first real game going to be against?
I mean, they have Purdue next
Purdue
week
next
at
week.
Purdue.
Is that-
but
yeah.
Purdue just lost to Eastern Michigan at home.
That's true.
Purdue is supposed to be better this year, though. I heard lots of good things about them.
Yeah, they were supposed to be good, but they're 0-2 now. They lost to Northwestern, and they lost to.
Do you see
Eastern
this
Mich.
as somewhat of a trap game for Mizzou?
Yeah, I think so because after this we have Georgia at home,
Oh,
and then we have South Cat, and then
Alabama at home.
Alabama.
Oh my God, you guys have a tough 3 weeks.
Yeah, and then after. So
Yeah, you
we
guys
really
need
have
to
we
beat
have to
Purdue.
beat we have to beat Purdue, and we really have to beat South Carolina.
It's tough when you have those big games come up too, because a lot of the players tend to overlook Purdue onto the next week. That's something I worry about sometimes with my team that I coach. When we have big games coming up, that they're going to skip the game before mentally.
So I just pulled up Drew Lock stats. These are for both the games combined. He's 52 for 70, 687 yards,
Wow.
a 74.3% completion rating.
Wow.
That adds an average of 9.8 yards per play.
Wow.
His longest is 70 yards.
Oh, God.
Has 8 touchdowns, no interceptions, hasn't taken a sack yet, has a QBR of 194.4.
That's not bad at all.
And I think I saw in the last 9 games he's been the best quarterback in the country. I'll pull
That's
those
pretty
stats
good.
up. KB, what do you think about the game?
I just love Missouri football. It's fun when they're playing well. And what makes it even better is Texas is playing very poorly.
Mhm.
And after Coach Herman made fun of Mr. Drew Lock, I like to see him.
What do you say?
No, it was in the bowl game.
He
You remember he did he made Drew Lock.
he
do,
mocked
a
his
60-yard
his
touchdown, something
sweet
like that.
backpack dance.
And Drew Lock did that
Oh, yeah,
one
so-
celebration where he puts the backpack on, and there was a video of Tom Herman. Tom Herman didn't do it right.
Well, yeah.
No.
It's
'Cause
Tom
he's
Herman.
an old white guy.
He doesn't do
Tom
anything
Herman
right.
hasn't done a whole lot of right
He
in
works
his
in
life.
Texas.
It's very true, and he's been to strip clubs a lot for recruiting.
Yeah.
visits. So screw Tom
Yeah, I
Herman
feel like a lot, every college. I don't think you can find a college coach that hasn't gone to strip clubs.
I bet you can find one.
for a recruiting visit, and his name's Barry Odom.
That's because Barry Odom doesn't get invited.
At least he wins games.
Yeah, because he's got a Heisman quarterback.
He's right. He's right. Shane's right. He's got as a quarterback.
When have
Also, the first two
when have I ever
games-
argued against Drew Lock?
Thus far, the first 2 games have been UT Martin and Wyoming.
Yeah.
So, Drew Lock, stud. No, but we knew this going into the season. Anybody who listened to First and 10 podcast knew that I put him as my number 1 quarterback in the country.
Yep.
But we'll see. This game after this 3-week stretch after Purdue will really show the type of team Missouri's going to be for the rest of the season.
So this was the stat I was talking about. His last 9 games, he has an 8-1 win-loss percentage, 187 completions, 64.7% completion percentage, 289 attempts, 2,928 yards, 35 touchdowns, 6 picks, and a QBR of 185.62. So what's up? So in the last 9 games, he's been pretty stellar.
Can we talk real quick about how we all hate Texas and how bad they are?
Yeah,
'Cause
Texas is
I'm
bad,
with it.
but Texas, I think Toby told me that Texas is favored against
Texas
USC.
is favored this week against USC.
Against USC?
At home.
USC
At home.
They are at home.
So they think USC would lose to Maryland also.
Ipso facto. Yes.
Ipso facto.
Yeah. USC only scored
Did I
3
use that
points
right?
this weekend against Stanford.
Okay.
I know, but Stanford's not bad.
Well, what's interesting about that game is that Clay Helton, since he took over at USC, has not been able to win on the road. I think they said when he's been a road dog as the head coach of USC, he is 1-8 in those games. So
Also, I'm not ready to pull my pants up about Drew Lock yet. I saw a video of him throwing the ball out of Memorial Stadium today, so that's pretty
Out
dope.
of which Memorial Stadium?
Have you seen that stat that
There's so many
in
Memorial
1948 that Mizzou played every single game of
Yeah.
Memorial Stadium?
That was weird.
That's wild.
One of those being Nebraska.
Yeah. Well, there's Memorial Stadium,
like
I think, in
like every state.
Oklahoma.
I think
There's
there's
one
one in every
in
state.
Missouri. I think K-State. Well, it's Bill Snyder family.
Back this back-
Oklahoma Stadium is called Gaylord Stadium.
That's true.
Backing this up a little bit, did you hear that thing about like Kansas? Because theirs was more like War Memorial Stadium for like all the KU students that went to serve in World
In
War II.
Yeah.
And then some donor paid a shitload of money, so now it's like insert donor's name here, Memorial Stadium. People were pissed.
Well, that sounds like
money
a
talk.
real shitty thing for Kansas football to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're talking about Kansas football, so
Yeah. While we're on the topic of
Shout out
Kansas football,
Spencer Johnson.
they finally won a game on the road.
yeah. They're still not back.
Nope.
Uh,
Since 09. This is their
And
first
that-
road win since 09.
In that debate, yeah,
Kansas-
they are bad.
Kansas is, however, favored against a Power 5 school for the first time since 2009.
Really? Who?
They're favored by
Rutgers?
3 points against Rutgers this
Rutgers is
Saturday.
barely a Power 5 school.
Oh, they're in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
so
but they're
this
barely
is really going to decide what's a better conference, Big Ten or Big 12.
Interesting.
KU's winning it. I'm telling you, Kansas is going to win this
You think
game.
Rutgers
Well,
is
okay,
that
hold
bad?
on.
Kansas is going to win
Will it
this
really?
game.
Because Maryland, a Big 10 team, just beat Texas, a Big 12 team.
Yeah, but we've said even on this podcast that you have to get the worst of the teams to play each other.
So you think Maryland or Rutgers is worse?
I think Rutgers is worse.
I think it's up in the air sometimes.
Also, if we think back to last year, if you took the two best teams in those conferences that played against each other, Oklahoma won in Ohio.
Yeah,
So this will now be, this year, the battle of the two worst teams.
it's interesting.
And the Big Ten's carried off a really bad week, too. Because they just
They're
had,
not coming off a great week.
yeah, because Nebraska just lost to a Pac-12 school. Michigan State was upset by a Pac-12 school. So, like, it's not looking great for the Big Ten right now, I must say.
We'll get it back.
Michigan will.
I heard
Hopefully.
we'll move on to the next game. That was the ACC and SEC, which Clemson and Texas A&M. Dabo Sweeney said that the ACC and the SEC have been the top two conferences the last couple of years.
He's just recency bias because he plays them all the time.
Well,
Oh, that's why I said couple
that's
of
what
years.
he said last couple of years. Yeah.
His team has carried the ACC
Yes,
like no other.
I was gonna say that.
Florida
if you
State
were
had a
gonna say
couple good
that.
years.
Florida State
They
had a couple
did
good years a
when-
while ago with Jameis
Yeah.
Winston. What was their best year since Jameis Winston? What was their record?
Ooh,
It was 2
Whoa.
years ago. They went to the Orange Bowl.
it's a New Year's Day Bowl, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Yep.
is. I mean, that's a good one, but still, Florida State is bad this year.
Florida State
They're
is
way bad this
not
year.
back.
No,
They're
Watching
not
them
back.
against old buddy Vatek out there. No, wait, was that Vatek? Or
It
is
was
that-
Vatek,
the
yeah.
first game was to Vatek,
Yeah.
and they lost.
That
bad.
was a bad football game for Francois.
Other than Clemson, give me another good school in the ACC. Louisville with Lamar Jackson, and they weren't even that
No,
good.
They weren't that good.
Yeah,
Don't get me started on Lamar Jackson. Don't get me on that.
Miami last
yeah.
year was probably the best bet.
last
you're
year,
gonna
but
get.
this year they're bad.
Did they lose to Wisconsin?
They lost to
They
Wisconsin.
lost to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That was a close game, though, wasn't it?
It was. They lost. They only lost their.
No.
In the bowl
Well,
game.
technically it was this year. because it was
Miami
a
only
New Year's
lost
Day
their
Bowl.
last 2 games last
Right.
year.
They
They
lost
were-
the ACC championship, and then they lost in that bowl game. To
They
Trevor
were-
Chain is dead.
No, they lost to the Pittsburgh Panthers last week of the regular
Oh,
season. They were undefeated going into that point, though. No,
Who'd they play
they
last
beat Savannah State 77 to
that-
0.
yeah. But it's Savannah State. Northwest could beat Savannah State.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Ooh.
You don't think?
We won
still a
Savannah
D1 team.
State.
Yeah, but they're a weak D1 team.
We won them.
We're one of the best D2 teams.
The best D2
I think
team.
the line is pretty
We won
blurry when you get to
Savannah.
the worst D1 and the best D2.
Ugh, it'd be a close game.
There's so many D1 schools that are way weak like this.
Now,
Yeah, but I
also
don't-
interesting, North Alabama, who Northwest played in the championship game Was it
2
2
years
seasons
ago.
ago? They've moved up to FCS, played 2 FCS opponents. They're currently 2-0.
Yeah.
And they get North Dakota State this Saturday.
I think North Dakota State wins that one.
Yeah, they're traditionally pretty good.
Mhm.
They've got a pretty good quarterback out of there. I think who's in the NFL right now.
Wait, the quarterback is in the NFL there and North Dakota State?
It's Carson Wentz. Is who I was
Oh,
going
okay.
for.
I thought you were talking about Easton Stick, who's actually a really good quarterback and Omaha native. Shout out Easton.
Hmm.
Went to Creighton Prep.
You learn somebody from Omaha every day when you're with Shane.
You gotta brag about something.
That'll be a new segment. Shane's corner of. Did you
Who's
know this
from
person's from Omaha?
Who's
I-
from
that would
Omaha?
actually be- we could do
With
that.
Shane.
It'd be
Yeah,
We're
Gabrielle Union from Omaha.
every show. We're just like, and now time for Shane's segment of. Did you know this person was from Omaha? Shane reads off a name. We're like, I didn't know that.
That's because I'm jealous we don't have Jim the Wonder Dog.
That's very true.
I mean, he is a wonder dog. The state wonder dog.
You want to know who's from Trenton?
Not just
Baseball
wonder
Hall
dog.
of Famer Burley Grimes.
That's pretty
He's
neat.
the last pitcher allowed to throw the spitball. That's a true story. You can look that up. You can fact check me.
You know what they say?
I'm not going to list off the famous people from Kansas City.
Quitters or quitters?
Tech 9.
Tech
from
9.
Kansas City. I don't
Shout out
know.
Nick Morrow.
Okay, we're getting off topic.
Yeah, we are.
Let's go back to talking about how bad of a week the Big Ten has. Arizona State pulled off the upset. Michigan State. I don't think really anyone was upset about that here.
No, I
No.
don't like Michigan State. It sucks for the Big Ten because they're supposed to be one of the better teams in the Big Ten this year, just off preseason predictions and stuff.
I loved it.
Yeah, I know you
And
did.
Michigan State survived against Utah State last week.
Yeah, they did.
They
I don't
really,
think they're
they
very
really don't
good.
look like that good of a team.
Did you see Arizona State's uniforms though?
Yeah, they
They're,
did
like,
that
fresh
blackout
as
game.
hell.
They did. They put like the trident. I guess
Yeah.
that's what you'd call it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
painted
They
in black.
did it in black, which is
Yeah,
really cool.
I loved
Yeah.
them. They
This
looked
is-
super good.
Signature win for Herm Edwards in Game 2. This was a team who was projected to have 4 wins when the season started. Arizona State was. They're halfway there, and they have a win over a team who at the time was top 15.
Yeah.
And
Is it weird that I get Tom Herman and Herm Edwards mixed up a lot?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
because
No, just
they
like
don't
names.
look the same.
oh, like names. I mean, I guess not, but like
Whenever someone says one of their names, I have to like stop and think and make sure it's the one I'm
yeah.
thinking of.
See, if you saw the person and you got them mixed up, then we'd have problems
Yeah.
because they
One
don't
of
look very
them-
similar.
Significantly different.
Let's just
Older.
say they do not look related. We'll keep going the Pac-12 train here. This is a big Pac-12 matchup. If you remember correctly from our episode last week, we didn't really care about this matchup.
Nope.
I think I said, the Pac-12.
Yeah, Pac-12 sucks.
Yeah,
I think we
don't
can all
like it.
agree the Pac-12 is like the
I like
most annoying
Stanford.
Power 5 conference.
I like
Yeah.
Stanford.
But Pac-12 actually had a pretty decent week last week. Can you think about it?
They did,
If-
which is annoying because I don't like the Pac-12.
If you stay up to watch those Pac-12 after dark games, they probably play some of the more entertaining football
They
that you'll
do.
see. Because there's always something super wacky going on in the Pac-12. This game, however, was not one of those. This was another typical
Yeah.
boring Stanford game, but the defense showed up. USC scored 3 points, and it looks like the Pac-12 is going to be Washington
Yeah.
and Stanford this year.
Yeah.
And whoever wins that game is basically going to be the only hope they have for playoffs.
Yeah. The Pac-12 bugs me, I think, just because they ruin my sleep on Saturday nights. Because usually, like, by the time it gets starting late, I'm like, all right, well, I've watched all the football that's on today, so that's good. Now I can do other things. I see there's, like, another Pac-12 game. I'm like, I'm not going to not watch it. Like, I'm going to stay up for this.
Yeah, so Stanford won that against USC, but I kind of like USC. I don't know why.
I hate both teams. So
I like
just wanted
Stanford.
I wanted them both to lose, which I know is not probably going to happen. But,
They
you know, a guy can
tie.
dream.
Yeah, before we
Go
get
Cardinals.
into our NFL roundup, I'd like to give a shout out to Paison's Pizzeria, sponsor of this episode and all episodes in the future. Paison's Pizzeria, where pizza is our middle name.
Yeah, it's Paison's pizza middle name, and then Aria is the last name.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was Paisan Pizza Pizzeria.
Ooh, I like that. Let's put that on the sign.
Paisan Pizza Pizzeria. Pizza's our middle name, if you didn't notice.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one too. That was a good one.
Straight off the top of my head.
No, that was right off the cuff.
Yeah, that was
That
pretty
wasn't
good
like a
one.
fake right off the cuff like last
Right,
week.
like a couple weeks ago. Yeah, no, that one was 100% real. So thanks to Paisan's Pizzeria for sponsoring us while we ramble on about whatever we do. We'll get into the NFL roundup. I'm going to take my pants off once again and talk about Pat Mahomes because he had himself a day against the Chargers.
He looked good.
I was kind of scared. I will not lie. There's been people trash Pat Mahomes to my face
Shout out Spencer Johnson.
and say that he is nothing. And I say, oh, would you rather have Chad Henne at quarterback? Because that's our other option. And obviously, we would not rather have Chad Henne at
Nope.
quarterback because Pat Mahomes
Anything is not possible.
played very well. But let's not. I know that Pat Mahomes played really well, but I'd like to give a shout out to Tyreek Hill. You know, his
He had
first two
He had a
touches.
first quarter.
Yeah, his first two touches amounted for like 150 yards
It
or
was like
something like that.
160.
Yeah, it's something just stupid, like only Tyreek Hill can do. And Tyreek Hill is an absolute freak of nature, and he was might
Tyreek
be.
Hill.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, thanks.
That's a good one.
Put that on a
Jot
poster.
that down. Jot
Put
that
that
down.
on a t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be coming soon. Tyreek Hill. But anyway, the Chiefs look good. I thought that the defense, we knew it was going to be really shaky, and it was a
Mhm.
little shaky. But I mean, the Chargers were supposed to be a pretty solid team, and they beat a pretty solid team.
Here's a good question for you.
Okay,
Would you rather have Pat Mahomes or Alex Smith still?
don't do that to me.
I know it's a tough one.
Well, they played two different games. I looked. I saw a stat that had Pat Mahomes averaged like 14 yards or something per pass, and that would have led the league like not even close last year.
Yeah.
And I know that he's only played one game, but I don't know. I just like what Pat Mahomes brings to the table. Alex Smith is a solid, proven quarterback. I'm just hoping that Pat Mahomes, fellow Chiefs fan Nick Morrow and I were talking about this. Just hoping that next week we play the Steelers. Hopefully he can get that monkey off of our back, and then maybe he can
You guys have to beat the Steelers.
yeah, and then maybe he can get the home playoff.
You can't lose to a
playoff
team that just
off
tied the
our back.
Browns.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm nervous going into that game too because it almost seems like a trap game. Like you look at that last week, they tied the Browns, and you're thinking, oh well, this team's not as good as they have been in the past, but maybe they haven't been. But the Chiefs' defense is still really shaky, and I don't know if is it at home or is it in Pittsburgh?
It's in Pittsburgh.
Well,
Ooh,
see,
so
that's not
tough.
good.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about this Mahomes and Smith thing because I believe, was it Einstein that said the definition of insanity
Yeah.
is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result?
Yep.
And when Alex Smith has been there for as long as he has, he's taken them to the playoffs consistently, but they haven't won in the playoffs consistently. You might need somebody who has the fan base excited, who has sort of that it factor. Like, I think we saw it in his one start. You can see some of that, like, stardom that Mahomes has, some of the charisma he carries himself with. The fact that he's not afraid to make any throw at any time because he has the arm to do so. So I think that you know what you're going to get from Smith, and you know he's not going to beat himself, and you like that. But I think Mahomes just has that it factor that when it gets into those big-time games like this weekend will be, he's got something that could just put him over the top,
I think it's exciting to watch him play too because you're almost waiting for him to make kind of a key mistake. Because right now it's been like almost nothing but upside for Mahomes.
Yeah.
So you're waiting to see like, God, when is he gonna make like a rookie throw?
He just hadn't done it.
And he hasn't done it yet. So it's
Right.
exciting to watch him play because you're thinking, wow, is this guy seriously this good, or has he just been kind of almost getting lucky with some of his throws?
And I told KB going into the season, and I said, well, the interceptions are just going to come with him.
They're gonna have to. Yeah, he makes
'cause
the throws he
If
makes.
you think like Brett Favre, like he
Yeah.
kind of has the same playing style. He's been compared to Brett Favre. I'm not saying he's Brett Favre, but he's been compared to him.
yeah,
And Brett Favre threw a lot of interceptions.
Yeah.
Interceptions are just a part of like his playing style.
Mhm.
But I know it's only been 1 week, but right now he looked really good.
yeah, I agree.
I'm not upset.
Going back to that Browns Steelers game, didn't you guys watch that? I don't think I watched it.
No, you could because the way the NFL like day works is you
Yeah.
get 2 games.
I know.
Or we only got one on Sunday. So we only had what game do we have, Toby? 49ers
Vikings,
That's
yeah.
right. That's the only game that we had because then the Chiefs game came on at 3, which was actually like the way time zones work was actually like noon out there, I guess, right?
Yeah, I don't know how that shit works.
Yeah, it's just confusing to me. But
Time travel.
that 49ers Vikings game was a good
That
game.
was a really good game.
I wish I would have got to see the Browns and Steelers because, man, would I like to watch the Browns beat the Steelers. That would have been
It
sweet.
pissed me off that Kirk Cousins looks so good because I do not like him, and I don't think he's better than. Well, I think he's better than Case Keenum. I don't
Okay.
think he'll make the mistakes Case Keenum will make, but
Do you think he's better than Sam Bradford?
Yes, I think he's better than Sam
Okay.
Bradford.
So you think he's an upgrade from all the quarterbacks that they had?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But I don't think he's as good of a quarterback as they're making him sound. I think he's as good as Case Keenum is at his best consistently.
That's interesting.
He plays that way, yeah. He plays more consistent.
But I don't think Case Keenum at his best is that good of a quarterback.
I think if you look at the numbers, Kirk Cousins has been the most consistent quarterback
I know.
for a long time. But I think
hate
now
him.
you put him with actual offensive weapons instead of whatever he had, like Josh Dodson or whatever he had up in Washington.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
He didn't have a whole lot there. Now you put him with like Stephon Diggs. You put him with Adam Thielen. You put him with
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. I mean,
But people
he's
are
got a
already saying
real
he's going to take the
offense.
Vikings to the Super Bowl after
That's-
preseason.
It's possible though. I think it's a
I don't
real
think he will.
possibility.
I don't think he will.
What do you? I mean, Case Keenum almost took him to the Super Bowl with those weapons,
Case
and he
Keenum-
didn't have Dalvin Cook.
Case Keenum got lucky a lot.
Well,
It's going to be the Vikings. If anything takes them to the Super Bowl, it'll be that defense.
Yeah.
our defense is good.
Because as good as the Vikings offense is, the weapons they have and all that, they're not an offense that's going to be like the Saints.
Yeah.
A team like the Saints in like a scoring contest. And last year, if you remember, it was really the Saints that beat themselves, I'd say, for the most part. And that game to get the
went for
Vikings
the tackle
there.
instead of the kill.
Right.
It wouldn't have been there.
And Cousins, I agree with Shane's notion because we talked about this yesterday during the Bears-Packers game. I agree with Shane's notion that you'd be getting Case Keenum, like the way Case Keenum played last year is what you'd expect from Cousins. He might play a little bit better.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a game where you don't play your best. But I think that Cousins isn't going to make this offense like
I think you could
35
throw a
plus
lot
points.
of quarterbacks into the Vikings right now, and they'd play just as good, if not better.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying Cousins is like a
No, I know. I'm just
is like
making
a top
point.
5 quarterback.
Yeah.
But he's certainly capable enough to take a team with, like you guys have said, the weapons and the defense that the Vikings have, take them to the Super Bowl. Like if Nick Foles can do it, Cousins can do it.
True.
The Vikings defense is no joke because they took a Jimmy Garoppolo who hadn't lost a game yet as a starter, who was 7-0, who's played fairly decently in his 7 games as a starter, and they forced 3 picks against him. So I mean, that Vikings defense is legit.
He doesn't have a lot of weapons now either, though.
I guess not.
I mean, it's hard to compare him to what he used to be because when he started with the Patriots, he's on the Patriots, which is the best team in the NFL. So he's going to have some success. And then he went to the 49ers last year when they were just like god awful and no one really expected anything out of him. So he won, 5 games with them?
Yeah, he won 5.
He was 9-0 for a while. So, I mean, he's done good things and he's a good quarterback. And I think if he was on a better team, he could do better. Like if he was on the Vikings, I think he would look like a stud.
He wouldn't be better than Kirk
I don't think he
Cousins
would have
on
been
the
better,
Vikings.
but I don't think he would have been much worse.
So he has Pierre Garçon.
Yeah,
Pierre Garçon would be good at 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You would have Pierre
So
Garçon.
he's got Pierre Garçon a little past his
Wow,
prime.
did you know CJ Beathard is his backup quarterback?
I did know that.
Why is he still in the league?
Same reason Chase Daniels is.
Well, he's better. Well, Chase Daniels is better.
Not fair.
I knew that would irk you.
Not fair to call out Chase
I knew
Daniel.
that would irk you.
Because all Chase Daniel did when he was backup for the Chiefs was come in and win Week 17 games when we didn't need him
Oh,
to.
man.
CJ Beathard in games that the 49ers needed him went 1-11.
Yeah, he was bad.
CJ Beathard, bad quarterback.
Yep.
Chase Daniel, good quarterback.
Back up for life.
Math. That's just called simple math right there. What's next? Aaron Rodgers delivers in the clutch over the Bears.
Hey, that's a pretty good quarterback.
I was
Very good
asleep
quarterback.
for that game.
Yeah, you slept for a solid 6 hours yesterday.
You missed probably the best game of the day, no offense.
Easily the best.
Two.
game.
Yeah,
Our compadre Zach, who watched it with us.
So I'm gonna
Bears
leave
fan,
this.
Zach.
I'm gonna
Don't
leave
you
this
remember.
up to you guys to talk about because I don't really know what happened. What I remember is I woke up and I was like on Twitter. It was like 11 o'clock, and I walked out here and I said,
I'll give you a breakdown real
"Aaron
quick.
Rodgers had a pretty good game."
Aaron Rodgers fakes a leg injury, gets
Okay.
carted off the field, comes back, fakes a limp for a little bit, and then plays out of his goddamn mind.
I'm going to hand the mic over to the
Sad
Bears
fan?
bad luck charm.
Yeah.
Bad luck Bears charm.
Ooh, there you go.
Kieran Brennan, who came in, called it, I think probably within
Yep.
15 minutes of joining us at the house.
As soon as Aaron Rodgers walked back on the field, Kieran called the rest of the game.
So here's KB.
Yeah, I just feel like I've seen this movie before,
Mhm.
Like it was just a rerun of The Huge. I showed up to the house late. It was 22-0, and I said, wouldn't it be, well, I kind of said funny or something like that if Aaron Rodgers just led this comeback. Zach didn't think it was funny. And then Aaron Rodgers proceeded to, lead the Packers on a comeback. He had a couple really nice throws.
He had one throw that I don't think it was like the best throw I've ever seen in my life.
He had one throw that I couldn't fathom. I sat
Pat
there and I
Mahomes
was like,
could have made it.
huh.
No, I don't think he could because he dropped it in.
Oh, I saw it. Pat Mahomes could have made it.
You're being
Maybe in
so
like
ridiculous
10
right
years
now.
I'm
when
being a
Pat
Nebraska
Mahomes
fan right
is
now.
You are.
30.
So we're not going to talk about 350, I think it was 45 plus yard touchdown passes that Fitzpatrick threw on the money
I think we were. We
to
just weren't
his
getting there yet.
receivers. I'm just saying, we're talking about good throws from yesterday.
Yeah,
Talking about the greatest throw of all time. Because personally,
that throw was incredible.
I think the best throw Rodgers ever made came against the
I don't know,
Cowboys.
we don't talk about that.
No, we have to because
No,
it's
we
the
don't.
best. Because it's the best throw that he ever
You're
made.
not on the show, Zach. Shut up.
Okay, here we go. This is a new special segment I like to call Kieran's quarterback rankings after 1 week. Here we go. Top 5. Number 1, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Right at the top, right where we all thought he'd be at the beginning of the season. Right there. Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Fitzmagic.
Number 1. Number 2, probably Patrick Mahomes. Number 3,
Woo.
Thomas Brady. 4, Aaron Rodgers. And 5, Andrew Luck. Probably. So that rounds out the top 5.
Did you just do your top 5?
Top 5.
We don't need
That's
to
it.
go all 32. I feel
That's
like
a new
excessive.
segment. Nope, just top 5 because I don't know. We all know the Bills quarterback tandem of Allen and Pete would be
Pete's
down,
man.
down at the bottom.
I'm so sick of
You know.
watching Aaron Rodgers make these comebacks though.
I'm actually sick of watching the Bills keep starting Nathan Peterman. Is anybody else tired of
I'm
that?
actually sick of
Well,
the
isn't
Lions
Josh Allen hurt?
continually breaking my heart.
No, they
thought
just
Josh
keep
Allen was
starting
hurt.
Nathan Peterman. That's like when last year when they dropped, or they didn't drop. They
They
just like
benched Tyrod?
benched Tyrod Taylor, and they're like Nathan Peterman gets the start,
Yeah,
and he
threw
threw
5
6 picks.
Yeah.
And now he's like Nathan Peterman, you get the start, and then he just throws for a negative QBR.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
They're like trying to force Nathan Peterman on us.
They're trying to make. I feel like they got him on the team. They're like everyone made fun of him. They're like, no guys, trust me, he's gonna be good. So they keep throwing him out there, being like, sometime he'll get it right. Blind
Where
squirrel
did
finds a
Nathan
nut
Peterman
every
go
now
to
and
I
then.
college?
saw. Oh, this is actually interesting because I saw a tweet. He
Of course,
was at
Tennessee.
Tennessee, and then he transferred into Pitt.
Yeah.
Where he finished his career. When he was at Tennessee, I saw a tweet from some reporter who I guess was covering the game against Florida, and his stat line in that game was something like 4 for 15 for 26 yards, 2 interceptions, which is eerily similar to every start he has here in the pros. I saw the writer quote tweeted it, and he said, I don't want to say that I'm a Nostradamus or anything, but I saw this coming from a mile away. And
With those stats, he could kick at Miami.
oh yeah, Bubba Baxa, shout out. Well, I guess not shout out. Don't listen to that. That was mean by Shane.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that Nathan Peterman might start again this week.
Jesus
The Bears,
Christ,
they
Buffalo.
haven't named a starter yet.
Like
It's
at some point, you just got to give it to the kid, Josh Allen. Even though I don't think he's that good, but he's got to be better.
At some point in the Bills, you just have to just run Wildcat formation 24/7.
With LaShawn McCoy.
Put LaShawn McCoy back there and just say, "This is our game
Put
plan
the ball
for
in
the
your
day."
best. Put the ball in the hands of your best athlete. That's the
Hope
best way
that
to
it
do it.
snows that day, and just like they're like, "All right, best snow athlete, get out there."
Staying up north. I almost said Patriots.
Patriots.
The
New England
Patriots.
Patriots.
The Patriots
Playing the
outlast
Texans. That's
the
why you said it like that.
Texas
Texas
Texans.
Texans. There you
Houston, Texas Texans. Patriots beat the Texans.
When did Matthew McConaughey get here?
Toby, what did you think about that game? That's your team.
That was so dope.
All right, good talk.
You have to give MVP award. Who do you give it to?
Right now, NFL season.
Just for the Pats.
No,
for the Pats.
for the Patriots.
Based
So-
off that game.
Based off that game, probably our newcomer offensive tackle Trent Brown, because he kept J.J. Watt pretty quiet the whole game.
Mhm.
I think Brady was sacked one or two times. I It looked like he had a lot of time to throw. He played a pretty efficient game yesterday. Gronkowski looked fantastic. The defense, this is a far cry from the defense we saw of week 1 last season when the Chiefs gashed the Patriots for 41 points on Thursday night in Gillette Stadium. They held Deshaun Watson, who's a pretty good quarterback, to a subpar game, 20 points, and they would have had 13, probably 10, maybe even single digits, had there not been a tipped interception and a muffed punt inside the Patriots' red zone. So all around, pretty solid start. Their big game is obviously this next week at Jacksonville.
Yep.
That should be a dandy.
KB, you want to talk about your Colts?
Yeah.
It's about to get sad here in a second, KB and then me.
Well, it was a typical Colts loss. They got my hopes up. Real high. The way that I was, since I do not live in the Indianapolis area, I have to stream my Colts games online, and my Colts stream is a little bit slow, so the Colts were playing very well. The defense was playing better than people expected them to. It's a young defense, so they were giving up a lot of penalties, just like ticky-tack stuff, stupid stuff that they should know better by the middle of the season. But altogether, they were playing much better than people anticipated them. The Colts were driving. It was under 2 minutes. They were down a couple points. A touchdown would win the game for them. Andrew Luck was leading a drive down the field, throw it to Jack Doyle. Jack Doyle has enough for the first down, and then fumbles the ball, and it gets returned for an 85-yard touchdown to clinch the game for the Bengals. So it was a sad game. It was heartbreaking because I don't know how many of those games that the Colts are going to get that they could have won this year. But I think a lot of people are. The Colts were bad last year. I think a lot of people are sleeping on them this year. And I'm not saying you should be fully awake. Like I feel like you should be in that kind of like you just woke up, like haven't had your coffee yet, like just kind of like stumbling around, like when you wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning to pee, like that kind of awake, like not like fully awake, but not fully asleep either.
You don't want to turn the lights on because you get used to the brightness and you can't go back to sleep.
Exactly. Like you're just kind of like, this is it. This is my life now. Yeah. But I mean,
maybe sit down to pee because you're too tired to stand.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually
exactly right.
Yeah. That's a guilty pleasure for sure.
I mean, Andrew Luck threw the ball 53 times, so I think
a lot of times.
I think the shoulder is fine. I think Tucker and I have developed a new fantasy football game where we, instead of PPR points per reception, it's quarterback friendly, where it's PPA points per attempt. And so Andrew Luck would have 53 points simply pass attempts alone.
No, I like it.
Does throwing it away count as an attempt?
And would it count as an attempt on a stat sheet?
I think it does on a stat sheet.
Then yes.
Interesting.
I think we cracked the code.
Yep.
Now, Shane, you kind of have a little sad
This is about to get real sad because I'm super depressed about this. We had just zero offense as the Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott had, I think it was 69 yards, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 69
yards, one touchdown, which isn't bad. But, I mean, when you think back to Ezekiel, remember from his rookie year, he looked unstoppable. He looked like a superhuman. And now he can't even get triple digits rushing yards. It's absurd. I mean, we just couldn't put together any offense. Dak Prescott looked super inaccurate. He made a couple good throws, but other than that, like nothing really. We scored 8 points in the whole game. We only gave up 2 touchdowns. It was 16-8.
Yeah,
there's no reason that we should have to lose that game.
And if your defense only gives up 2 touchdowns, you should.
That's not bad. Our defense played good.
Like you should expect, like your offense needs to put up, at least 1 touchdown. Your offense has to put up. But I mean, if you ask your defense to only give up 2 touchdowns, that's like a common thing to ask your defense.
Just a regular goal. Yeah. If we continue to play like this, especially on offense, we are going to have a long season because we just have no offensive weapons right now.
Yep, looks like Des Bryant wasn't the problem with that offense.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But if you look at his stats last year, he didn't do much either.
Would it have been nice?
It would have been very nice to have him on there because he opens up the rest of the passing
receiver,
game. Yeah. Because at least with him on the field, defense has to think about someone.
Yeah.
We don't have a single receiver right now where the defense is scared of. Where defensive coordinators say, like, we have to guard this guy. They're just like, all right, run your normal fucking coverage because they can't score.
They only game plan for Zeke because that's the only really offensive weapon.
And you can't do anything.
Dak Prescott hasn't really done anything. Like last year, he didn't have a very good year. So I mean,
I'm not saying we need to change a quarterback because I still think he's good. I'm not ready to give up on him yet, but it's gonna be a long year.
We'll go to a new segment here. Would you rather? Let's only do a couple of these here. I guess there's only 3 of them.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Shane, do you wanna give us the first one?
Yeah, sure. Let's see what's a good one. This is one I thought of my own. I didn't even look this one up. Would you rather watch your team lose every game or have your team win the championship, but you can't watch a single game?
What sport?
Any sport, your favorite team.
Now,
Well, we'll go football because there's only 9 or there's not that many games.
Like 16.
16-ish games.
Yeah.
now when you talk about not watching, you don't keep up with the games as they're
You can't
going.
see any highlights. You can see stats. You can't see any aspect of the game.
So there's like a GameCast sort of deal.
Nope.
Can you see that?
You can see the stats after the game, but you can't watch them as they happen.
Oh, here's another thing.
But
What-
they
what
win the
if-
championship.
What if you listen to them on the radio? Does that not
Nope.
count? Okay.
You can't get any like live
As it happens.
updates. Yeah.
Well, then I'd probably have them win the championship.
Yep.
You can't watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watching a game, like watching my team's game, is not that big of a deal for me.
Yeah,
see,
that's
I-
easy. Win the
Really?
championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's still win the championship for me, but it's a really tough call because I
I wouldn't
love
want to watch
watching
my team lose every game.
You say that, but I think it's better than not watching.
I've grown up out of market of my teams for as long as I've been alive. And so what's worse is not watching any of the game and them losing. So I'd rather them So
that
I'd-
is the worst.
which happens often, but I would rather them just like win and me
Yeah.
not watch because like that's what I very rarely watch anyway.
Growing up a Nebraska fan, I've watched a lot of losing seasons. Or just really not doing well, especially in the Callahan era when I was younger. So I think I'm just kind of used to it at this point. Where like watching them lose is just kind of normal.
That's fair.
But I've never seen them win a championship.
Mm.
So that's like kind of it's like if you don't know what you're missing, are you really missing it? You know. But I think I would still say win a national championship and not watch.
Yeah, I haven't got to see my team win as many championships as I'd like to.
Toby doesn't get to talk about this if he's going to talk like ridiculous.
Yeah. I'll shut his mic off.
He's seen
said-
he's seen 5 Super Bowls.
I said as many as I'd like to. I'd like to see him win it every year. And not seeing a game. Like Kieran said, a lot of those you don't see. And I guess you see all the playoff games. And if they have the big, like, 325 game like we have next week, you get to see all those. But for the most part, I think for a lot of us, we don't get to see our teams regularly play. Either, like, busy or
I
they're,
guess
like, out of market.
It's
but-
different for me because I'm definitely in market for Nebraska, and the Cowboys are always on like Sunday night.
Yeah. They
So I've never really experienced being out of market, which is kind
Yeah.
of weird.
Well, that's pretty cool. They're giving the Cowboys and Giants the Sunday night game
Yeah, they don't get
next
a lot
week.
of
No,
exposure.
they don't get
It's
a
like
whole
a
lot of.
charity football game.
Yeah, they don't get a whole lot of Sunday night games. Those two teams.
No, those two teams never get to the Sunday night game.
That's because they're
Rarely.
both bad. They still get the Sunday night game. So would you rather sit in your normal seats at a game? So just kind of like your average. For us, it'd be cheaper seats, so probably kind of shitty seats. Or sit like front row, courtside, owner's booth, you name it, at any sporting event you ever desired to attend, but you're not allowed to eat, drink, or use the bathroom for the entire game. And that includes like halftime and timeouts and stuff like that.
I just take my normal seats.
So you wouldn't take courtside to the national, like to the NBA finals.
No, I wouldn't take that.
You wouldn't take like 50-yard line Super Bowl tickets if you couldn't eat, drink, or use the bathroom. Because it says any game you desire, not just your
I know,
team's games.
but I want to eat, drink, and use the bathroom.
You really?
No, yeah,
See, I think
I'd have
it's
to.
easy
I'd
for
have
me.
to go sit in the owner's booth or something like
Yeah.
that. Because like if I don't go with my girlfriend, like if I'm just there by myself, I'll probably eat before the game, and
Yeah,
then
see,
like
I
I
can do that.
won't use the bathroom during the game because like I don't really have to use the bathroom
Also, I
during
grew
the
up
game.
with cheap parents. We didn't get to eat. Sometimes there's like eat before the game, we'll eat after. You don't get to eat. Paid $13 for popcorn.
Yeah, eating probably not the big thing for me.
Drinking might be a little difficult.
Yeah,
'cause you get
drinking.
thirsty.
So
But if you
Here's-
don't drink,
'cause
you
here's
won't have
the-
to go to the bathroom.
Well, here's the problem that I run into is that if I'm going to go to the biggest sporting event that I can think of, because this is any sporting event,
Mhm.
any sporting event I desire to attend, probably number one for me would be on the track for the Kentucky Derby. Just like
Interesting.
the pageantry,
Okay.
all that.
Yeah.
And there's no way I wouldn't get hammered for that event.
I think it's a rule that you have to be.
Right. So I get hammered like beforehand, then go on the track.
It's a short event too, so
Well, it is a short event, but you're usually there all day because like there's all the
You
lead
know
up.
what?
That's a very
I think we have to take that into consideration too. If whatever event, because if you're going to like PGA Tour or whatever, it's a long day. You can't eat or drink or
That is
go
a
to the
long
bathroom.
day.
yeah. What's like
What
would
if
be
you're going
like
to the World Marathon Championships?
You're a nerd and don't deserve to be on this podcast.
so? But I would say like if you were to go to an event where you're going to drink a whole lot beforehand, you're obviously going to have to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
So even then, like eating and drinking before the game, you're probably gonna have to use the restroom during.
That's a good point.
That is a good
So-
If
point.
you eat before, I mean, you're going to
So
feel
that-
eventually.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
that'd be really tough to like not be able to use the restroom. To like, you can imagine you like crossing your legs over.
Yeah.
like
You're
a
not
dude with
enjoying the
tiny
game
balls or like a
if you're
chick.
trying super hard not to piss your pants at the
right,
same
and
time.
then like you're like front row. Everybody's seeing this like national TV. Can you imagine some guy on
Oh,
the
God,
finals,
yeah,
like,
you'd be on ESPN for
yeah,
sure.
imagine some guy in the finals grabbing his dick, trying to hold his piss in
It's true.
during the entire game. It was like that guy's doing some
Tucker,
weird
so
shit.
you're
over
telling
there.
me you wouldn't want to sit like ringside or in the owner's box at the Predators
If I'm
Stanley
going
Cup
to the
final?
game anyway, I don't care where I'm sitting.
If I know that I can't go
That's
to
a
the
fair point.
bathroom, I'm throwing on Depends. You know,
Oh,
I'm throwing on
you're
Depends,
changing
and
the
I'm
game.
like, you know, I can't go to the bathroom.
And then you have to sit in it.
That is true.
I did it for what? When are you potty trained? Like 3 or 4?
Year. Oh, I think it's like a year, bro.
I don't
15.
know.
Did it for 15 years of my life. I can do it for one more game.
That was a good debate, though. I still think I'm taking like front row, but not eating, drinking, or pissing.
That's fine. To each his own.
Yeah, good debate.
Different strokes, different folks. We'll go ahead and run out the show with our final thoughts. Shane, you want to start us off?
Yep. So I got tomorrow or today when you're listening to this day in history, September 11th, 1983. Pittsburgh running back Franco Harris runs for 118 yards in the Steelers' 25-21 win at Green Bay to become only the third player in NFL history to rush for 11,000 yards.
Toby, do you have a final thought?
I do. So we're recording this on a Monday night. Currently watching Rams and Raiders. The game before this, the New York Jets beat the Detroit Lions in Detroit. I think the final score was 48-17, if I'm not mistaken. There was a lot made about the rookie quarterbacks entering
Rookie quarterbacks?
the whole class entering the season.
Oh, okay.
There's always excitement for these
Okay.
rookie guys.
I thought you meant
There was
just in that
only,
game.
I believe Sam Darnold was the only one
Yeah,
named
in
starter
that game.
for week 1. And his first career pass attempt was a pick 6 thrown
Mm-hmm.
to Quandre Diggs. And the rest of the game, Sam Darnold looked really legit. And so my final thought is the Jets might have just did something.
Broadway Sam.
You want to know who else started off their career with a pick 6? Joe Namath.
Brett Favre.
Broadway
Also
Joe.
did. Yeah.
Brett Favre's first completion was to himself.
hmm
I don't know if you knew that.
Sam
did not know
Darnold's
that.
was to not himself.
To a guy on the other team who
Yeah.
ran it for a touchdown.
Isn't that weird, though, that Joe Namath also did that?
Yeah.
That's it.
Broadway
Sam
Sam.
Darnold's going to have to sell his soul to the devil now, like Joe Namath did.
Broadway Sam.
I mean, what soul does he have to sell? He's a ginge. Is he ginge?
I don't think he is.
I think he's blonde.
No,
but
he's-
I appreciate the joke.
I don't know. It's
I think he's
We
pretty
gotta
blonde.
we have
He's a
to
Cali
look up-
kid, right?
we have to look up this hair
Yes.
color. It's probably like a sun, like
Sun
bleach
kissed.
blonde.
Yeah. It's debatable. I think it's more of a strawberry blonde.
I don't know.
I don't think
he's
it's a
more blonde.
red. I don't think he's a redhead.
I
No.
would not call him a redhead.
No, he's not a redhead.
No, he's not.
It's kind of.
I mean,
when
if you
see
look
him,
at it, you can
when you
like,
see him in the USC,
you can see
uniform,
it. Well, I'm looking at this picture here, and this looks blonde to me.
Yeah, I don't. But there's some pictures like this
There's-
one. He's
there
wearing
are
the
some
USC.
pictures.
Look at this. He's wearing a USC uniform. It looks more red there.
How does
That
his
looks
hair
extremely
sometimes
rare.
look like dark
Or
brown,
red.
and then
Do you
other
think he
times
dyes it?
looks?
I think
he's
a
a
lot
Cali
of this dark
kid, man.
brown looks like it's sweat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good factor.
So I'm thinking that it is probably like
He's got red in his beard. I think that's what's throwing us off.
Captain Redbeard.
He's a ginger beard man.
oh fuck, this is close. This is something we'll have to keep our eye on throughout the season.
Is Sam Darnold
We're gonna keep
ginger?
updates on this. Is
We don't
Sam
know.
Darnold a ginger or not?
Right now, jury's still out.
Yeah,
The jury
jury's
is
out.
still out, yeah.
Jury's still out. It's hopefully we don't have a hung jury. There are 4 of us. We could have a hung jury.
That'll be a new weekly segment. We were looking for segments for Tuesday nights. So new weekly segment on Tuesday nights of
Is Sam
is
Darnold ginger?
is Sam Darnold a ginge? Today? No.
I don't think so.
We'll Google his most recent, or we'll look up his most recent Instagram picture and debate off that.
All right, KB.
Really screw this up if he dies this year.
Yeah, that's gonna fuck us over.
KB, what's your final thought?
All right, my final thought will be probably I'm going to say KB's overreaction Tuesday, but I'm not sure which overreaction I want to go with right now.
Go Spitfire. Just
All of
rapid
them.
fire.
Probably
Just say
the
all
one
of them.
that's the Jets are gonna overreaction after week 1, and I love overreactions. I'm the king of overreactions. You can ask all my friends.
We
The
all
Jets-
are here. We all
the-
agree.
The Jets are gonna. Oh my goodness! Look at this pass. Come on.
Oh.
That was not Brandon Cooks. The Jets are gonna make the AFC Championship game.
That's not an overreaction
I would love to see that.
because it's going to be Jets Chiefs.
That would be interesting.
Tucker almost threw up as he was saying that. He
It's
thought it was so funny.
That was funny. My final thought, Tyron Woodley, submission in round 2 of Darren Till. Welterweight title still goes through Missouri. Tyron Woodley, Mizzou wrestler, D2.
Where's he from?
D1 national. Ferguson, Missouri.
Nice.
Yeesh.
Nice.
Before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Let's
it
go
better
St. Louis.
Before or after?
I don't know.
He's on one of the Mount Rushmores of St. Louis, not the Mount Rushmore of St. Louis,
Just
because I
one.
made that earlier today.
Okay.
Tucker was not a fan of it.
Okay, let's hear this real quick. That'll be Kieran's last final thought.
Go, Kieran. Go.
My Mount Rushmore of St. Louis was Akon,
This is fair. He was born in St.
Yeah,
Louis.
that's fair.
Nelly,
Okay.
That's okay. That's a good one.
Ezekiel Elliott,
Which is fair.
and Austin Matthews.
I was waiting for why Tucker was so pissed.
Austin Matthews is from Phoenix.
The pride of St. Louis. Phoenix is just a suburb of St. Louis.
way suburb.
That's just like I also told Tucker today that Hawaii was a suburb of St. Louis. When someone's like, "Yeah, isn't Barack Obama from St. Louis?" I'm like, "Never was a suburb of St. Louis."
Yeah.
Chicago's also a suburb of St.
Yeah.
Louis.
That's a big old suburb of St.
If you
Louis.
just think of everywhere as a suburb of St. Louis, it makes the United States seem much smaller.
Interesting tie-in, actually, because I believe, I might be wrong about this, but I believe Tua Tagovailoa, or no, it wasn't Tua Tagovailoa. It was some Hawaiian quarterback that just played in a major D1 school, went to a high
Marcus
school
Mariota.
called St. Louis in Hawaii, which is named after
Interessante.
the big city that they are a suburb of.
That's a good point, Toby.
Was it Mackenzie Milton?
He did go to St. Louis High School.
St. Louis High School.
Yeah, Tua did.
Tua, pride of St. Louis. He'll be on the second Mount Rushmore with Jason Tatum and David Freese.
He left off Jason Tatum to put
Yeah,
on
for
a guy
Austin Matthews, arguably.
who's not even from St. Louis.
He's from a suburb
from
of
a
St. Louis.
suburb.
You tell people you're from Kansas City when you're from Trenton.
Okay, listen.
Good
I just
point.
tell people that
Good point. Good point, KB.
if I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, and they ask me where I am, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, I'm from Trent, Missouri. It's about an hour and a half north of."
You
Kansas
can just say
City."
Trent, Missouri. No one really cares.
Tucker,
Then they ask you where they are.
Oh,
Is the-
They'd
that's
ask you where
fair,
it
that's
is.
is the area code 816?
It's a 660.
You don't have to give people your absolute location. Like when they ask where you're from,
GPS
you could just say Missouri. You don't be like from this
I'm
latitude,
from the Midwest.
longitude.
Hey, you know what the Midwest is?
Young and restless.
That'll do it for this week's show of Nosebleed Radio. Thanks for tuning in for the first Tuesday edition. Follow us on Twitter at NosebleedsKnow. Like us on Facebook, Nosebleed Knowledge. We'll see you on Friday. Peace.
Friday.